Namaskar. Good evening, dear devotees and friends. This Wednesday, we will study the Panchama Veda, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. But as usual, let us chant from this mantra. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kabibhiriritam kalmashapaham Sravana Mangalam Srimadatam Bhuvi Grinanti E Bhurida Janaha. The devotees, our topic this evening, as the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna puts it, to realize God, renounce everything. Of course, he said mentally, so we will come to that. To renounce God, to renounce everything, to realize God. Today is the birthday of a great soul who renounced everything, physically and mentally, externally and internally, and became Nivedita of Ramakrishna Vivekananda. Today is her birthday, 28th October 1867. Many of you remember, our devotees here in Chicago, that Chicago Center organized almost half year long the program to celebrate the 150th birth anniversary of Sister Nivedita. And we had the program every month in the Hindu temple, Lemont. They very much cooperated with us. And also the University of Chicago. That there also we had the wonderful program. The many Swamis, they came, and the scholars from the university, they also spoke. So all this. 15th issue of the Chicago Calling, that this is the book. Many of you may remember. Here many of the beautiful articles are there on the Sister Nivedita. You can go through this book. If you go to our website, and then if you go in the home page down scroll, that our magazine Chicago Calling, and if you go to the ESN and the previous issues, then the 15th, you can read online. Beautiful articles are there on Sister Nivedita. And I was remembering the days I visited the birthplace of Sister Nivedita and where she studied and grew up. So Ireland, England, I had the great opportunity to visit those places. And many of you remember that one Swami came, Swami Purnananda, and by birth an Irish, and he has taken the sannyasa, and he took so much pain to establish that ashram over there. And finally, when he needed badly some money to establish that ashram, and he came over here, and I took him to our that annual the fundraising, that there many of you donated nearly $30,000, more than $30,000 we gave to him for his ashrama. And then afterwards I visited. It's a very nice ashrama, though small, and from there he took me to the birthplace of Sister Nivedita, and he drove all the way. We reached over there, and in the library, now they are in one corner they have dedicated for Sister Nivedita. I sent many books from here to keep in that corner, dedicated for Sister Nivedita, and they were wondering, they were not knowing. This is after the 150 years of her birth, they came to know that a girl from their community, from their country, and she did so much for India, and India is still remembering her. They were really wondering. And I told, why you stopped sending your girls? Only Sister Nivedita, why not other girls? So that all we remembered. Now maybe after the pandemic, when everything is over, if you are interested, you can go and visit this place. You know why we visit these places, particularly the birthplaces of the great souls? Because this is very rare. You will find millions and millions who like to grab, who like to keep, who like to enjoy. There is no dearth of selfishness. Everywhere you will find a selfishness. All selfish people. They like to live only for themselves. And very rare, those who live for others. So that is one example, the Sister Nivedita. And they also, that the local authority, and they have given a blue plaque and the Sister Nivedita's the place where she lived in the London. That is also the wonderful place. We went and saw that. I was remembering Sister Nivedita, then I thought this the topic that we are going to discuss, to realize God, renounce everything mentally. So that, but this lady, she renounced everything, externally and internally. And she passed away in Darjeeling. And that was the villa that was given to her to live. And she used to look at the sunrise. And all the time she used to remember that I should be like this. She helped so many people in so many different ways. She used to inspire the writers, the scientists, the painters, and the philosophers, the patriots, the students. Unthinkable. So this went on and on. Friends, in page 642, we read, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, the Hindu religion alone is the Sanatana Dharma. The Hindu religion has always existed and will always exist. We have already discussed what this Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna meant by the Sanatana Dharma, but I like to read out a passage that wrote by Arnold Joseph Toynbee, a British historian. And from his words, it will be more clear. Arnold Toynbee wrote, it is already becoming clear that a chapter that has a Western beginning will have to have an Indian ending, if it is not to end in the self-destruction of the human race. At this supreme, dangerous moment in human history, the only way of salvation is the ancient Hindu way. Here we have the attitude and spirit that can make it possible for the human race to grow together into a single family. The last words, beautifully is he mentioned, grow together into a single family. In the family, all members are there, different brothers are there, different attitude, different behavior, but in the family, they are all together. That same way the whole human community should grow, and that is the only way we can survive. And we must have to try for that. In different parts of the world, people are working, good people are there. They are all working, different religious background, different philosophy, different culture, but all they are trying to come together. How? By understanding others and helping others. That is Sanatana Dharma. This spirit of unity in diversity. Unity in diversity. Not that diversity has to give up and all will become one. Not like that. Every diversity will be there. Like the 5 fingers in one hand, different sizes, but still this total 5 can become a palm. So like that, unity in diversity is very, very important in the human society, and particularly nowadays when the education has become so widespread and understanding of people, knowing to each other becomes so easy. Now I am sitting over here in Chicago talking, and all over the world you can hear me, see me. So this is the time that we should heed, and we should try to bring the whole human group in one place, and that is called love. Love that will bind us. We will be as it is. I like Jesus, I like the Hazrat Muhammad, I like the Buddha, I like Jehovah, I like the Sri Ramakrishna. All that will be there, but still we will love each other. How? That secret we learn from Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, because he lived that life. He practiced different religions. He lived and he propagated that. That is called unity in diversity. In one place he said, I see Rama, God, in all things. I see God in all things. This is the unique expression. Ultimate realization. I see God only this image. I see God only this theory. I see God only in this building, in this particular place, in this particular symbol. Of course you can see that, but that is a narrow view. That's why Swami Vivekananda said, we are developing, we are growing not from the error to truth, but from lower truth to higher truth. And this lower truth is, God can be in this book, which I like, I love, I respect. God can be in this building, which I consider the holiest of the holy. But at the same time, God can be everywhere, in everything. And that Sri Ramakrishna termed it as a jnana and vigyana. This is the conception of the vigyana. As Sri Ramakrishna, almost like casually, he said, I see Rama, the God in all things. In page 646, friends, those who are following this Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna by Swami Nikhilananda ji, the 646, when Mahimacharan asked, by what kind of work can one realize God? Then Sri Ramakrishna, he answered, it is not that God can be realized by this work and not by that. The vision of God depends on His grace. Still a man can work a little with longing for God in his heart. If he has longing, he will receive the grace of God. The condition is longing. What is this longing? A tremendous love for God. And here, by this way, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is answering the question, Purushakara and Kripa. Always the debate goes, if God is giving us the grace, then why should I strive? Why should I work? Unless the God's grace I am receiving, nothing is going to happen. The God is doing everything. So naturally the question, why should I try? Why should I work? But Sri Ramakrishna is very clear. You have to work. You have to strive. You must try. Then only the Kripa will come. The self-effort and the grace, both are necessary to become successful. Sri Ramakrishna gave the story that we read last time, and beautifully he is mentioning a person. He wanted to save the life of someone whom he loved so much. But the doctor suggested, well, it needs a special type of thing. What is that? You know that in astrology and there's they used to say, and the Swati nakshatra, the special nakshatra, that means the star, and it should rain. When the star there in the sky, at that time it should rain. And when it is raining, there should be a human skull collecting the rainwater. Then a frog and the snake is also necessary. The snake should chase the frog, and the frog will come at the last moment. When the snake has given the bite, the frog jump over that human skull, and the venom comes out and fall into the water collected into that human skull. Can you imagine? If so many, but the man was so faithful. And he was praying to God, and he was going and sitting in a place where the cremation ground, there's a possibility to find the human skull, and he found it. And look at it, in the sky, the Swati, the special star is also there. And it started raining, drizzling. And he was going on praying to God. God, so many things have come. And last two things, a snake and a frog. Then he found a frog is also coming, chased by a snake. And it should come to this, and then everything he got. And who took that, collected that water, and then gave it to the doctor. So this is the way, through the stories Ramakrishna is telling, if you truly love, truly long, truly really believe and pray, then everything comes into this. This is the way the life goes. But friends, at the same time, we should remember, sometimes someone, they complain, I was praying to God to save the life of my the close one, the son or the husband or the father, mother. Why the death came? Why God didn't listen to my prayer? We all through our lives, we are the devotees of the God. But each and every one has a lifespan. And they come and they go accordingly. This story, through this story, what happens? Sri Ramakrishna is telling, if you are longing for God, and in this way there may be many impossibilities, but you can overcome the impossibilities and you can get success. That is the story it says. Do you remember that story of Lord Buddha? When a mother, she lost her son, and the Buddha was passing through that particular area. She came running to Buddha and said, I know that you are a great soul, you can do a lot of miracle, give back the life of my son. You can imagine. And Buddha said, Mother, I will do that. But can you please bring a little mustard seed, a handful of mustard seed, from a house where death has never come? She ran because she was thinking it is possible to collect. She ran to every house, knocked every door and said, can you please give a little mustard seed, but before that tell me, has anyone passed away in your house? Yes. Every house said someone or other died, passed away, and that is inevitable. Then she came back and told Lord Buddha, I have understood what you wanted to teach me. The death is inevitable at different time, different situation, according to one's own karma phala. Maybe the grandfather is so old, people are thinking that he will die. Instead, the young boy of that house. So it happens, and this is a very wonderful way of the karma phala that goes on. No one can answer to this. So Purushakara is necessary to get the success in spiritual life. And along with the Purushakara, the kripa, the grace of God is also necessary. But first is our tremendous the mental strength that I am going to realize God in this life. I am going to be successful, and that is called Purushakara. Swami Vivekananda said Atma Vishwas. This Atma Vishwas, I can do. It is not ego. It is the self-confidence, Atma Vishwas. So that is the way we can. The 700 verse of the Bhagavad Gita, it says, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Parth Dhanurtara, Tatra Sri Vijaya Bhuti Dhruvaniti Matirvama. That is my certain decision, absolute decision. What is that? Where the first is Yogeshwara Krishna, God is there and he is graceful. At the same time, Partha, Dhanurtara, the one who is striving, trying his best, her best to realize the truth, this to come together, success is sure. In everything, not only spiritual success, in everything. So this Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling, a man cannot realize God until he renounces everything mentally. 647 page. Then a sadhu cannot lay things up. He was telling for the monks, they should not. You know that in organization, we have to keep some money in the bank, we have to keep some food in the freeze. So this is obvious. But for the individual, when wandering monk, nothing. So that one should not misunderstand. The when we are in an organization, this is also necessary. So this sometimes something literally they like to see in our life, and then they misunderstand. It is not possible. It is not possible in that way. A man cannot realize God unless he renounces everything mentally. Renounces everything mentally. Though you are living in the palace, but you know that this doesn't belong to me. Any day, any time, any moment I have to go away from here. So this is the story that again and again it happened. In Andaman, when it was very tough life, but slowly within the 8 years by the grace of the Divine Mother and Thakur, so a lot of money came, and then everything was. And then the then Prime Minister of India, Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, he came to inaugurate. Then after our General Secretary, present President Swami ji, so he also went. Everything went very well, very impressive. And then that Swami ji called me, come, we will have a cup of tea. Then I understood that something he is going to tell me. Then he said, oh, you are very successful, you have made a beautiful ashram, one of the best center of the Ramakrishna mission. And I am thinking that I should give you a bigger responsibility. What do you think? Then I told, thinking, no question. Once the authority is asking, then you have to obey, you must obey. And I told Swamiji, when should I have to leave? All these years I was sitting on a wooden chair, and that was a broken chair. And recently, one gentleman has given a wheelchair, and a padded wheelchair, and the red color, I liked it very much, but I didn't open the plastic that covered. Shall I open the plastic and use it? No, keep it for the next man. That means within 1 or 2 days you have to leave. So by that is the way the life should be. I didn't open the chair, I kept it there for my next person, and that is the way. There and then and there you have to leave. I am working, I am collecting, I am planning, I am executing, all this I am. But afterwards, when the moment the organization, the authority comes and says, enough, move to somewhere else. Our mind should be ready, and that is exactly what Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said. A sadhu cannot lay things up. Panchi or darvesh, in Hindi they say it. Darvesh means a monk, Panchi means a bird. They don't keep things in a store. Whatever comes, use, and any time, just leave. That means no attachment. No attachment with the worldly things. This way the mind should be kept ready. You are a householder. Now Sri Ramakrishna is telling to the Mahimacharan. Therefore you should hold both to this and to that, both to the world and to God. As a householder he is telling, you should not leave. That was the wrong message that went at the time of Buddhism. And it says that there are four, the truth. What is that? This world is miserable, full of misery. That is true. We can understand, those who have grown up from our experience, we know a little bit of joy and maximum the trouble, misery. So this goes, the world is full of misery, we can understand. And second, it has a reason, because of karma phala. Third, you can overcome it. And the fourth, the process is there to overcome. These are the four Arya Satya. That is the truth. That is the Buddhist, the whole philosophy based on these four. Vedanta also says the same thing. They say this world is nothing but illusory, and it has a reason, because it is your karma phala. You want to suffer, so you are suffering, and you can overcome it, and the process of overcoming the Vedanta's way. So, same thing. The Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, when these ideology you thrash on those people who are not ready, then what happens? They will not be able to practice this higher ideology, rather they will show as if they are practicing, and the whole religion, the philosophy will go down, and hypocrisy comes in the way of religion, the practice. This is the dangerous thing. I should understand how far I can do. Otherwise, I can climb a little, but it doesn't mean I should go and start climbing the Himalaya, Mount Everest. It is not possible. It needs lot of training and experience. So that I must understand. Just because I can climb a little, I have little strength and physically well, then I should start that. No, I should understand that. So this is also same like this. Those who have understood this world is really folly, full of misery, for them this four Arya Satya. Not for all, and not necessary. So we have to understand that the wrong message, and the society, thousands after thousands, they all started leaving the household and just grabbing the gerua, the saffron color, and then started becoming a monk and a nun. Result? The religion came down, ideology came down, practices came down, and there is a lot of adjustment, and that ruined the whole philosophy. So this is the way we have to understand. And Sri Ramakrishna is that way, very practical. You are a householder, and what is your sadharma? What is your religion? To look after both. To look after the society, look after the family, and also take care, because you have taken the oath. You must have to, but at the same time you should not forget the ultimate truth is God. So Sri Ramakrishna is telling that you should this and that. This means this world, and that means this God. How? Internally, mentally, psychologically. I know this is not true, but at the same time I can feel I cannot overcome this, I cannot go beyond this, I must have to practice. But this is only intellectually I have understood, reading Vedanta or listening the talks of the Swamis. This world is a delusion, illusory and full of misery. And I can feel, yes, in many times, so many things I tried, every time, ultimately the result is the suffering. So why not then prepare my mind to go to the truth? You have to give the time. You have to give time to your mind to get the preparation. So intellectually you know, but in reality you have to practice that I am a responsible father, a responsible husband, and I have to take care of my family and at the same time the society, everything. So this is exactly what Sri Ramakrishna said. Sir, can one who holds to that also hold to these? Is the ultimate truth is it is not possible. Jahan Ram, tahan nahi kam. Where there is that God, there cannot be any desire for the world. Because the world that is illusory, that is the creation of God through his Maya, and the God himself. It is true. So Mahimacharan, as because he used to study the scripture, he said from that point of view. See, Sri Ramakrishna, he understood Mahimacharan, but here Sri Ramakrishna, who was perfect in giving the answer, an immediate, prompt answer, now he is not giving that answer. Why? He knew Mahimacharan is speaking from, quoting from a scripture only. But what is the reality? So he is telling a story from his own experience. He said, once sitting on the bank of the Ganges near the Panchabati, he is giving the description of the Dakshineshwar, holding a rupee in one hand and the clay in the other. I discriminated. The rupee is the clay, and clay is verily the rupee, and the rupee is verily the clay, and then threw rupee into the river. Both into the river. That's a famous Bengali quotation from Sri Ramakrishna. Taka, mati. Mati, taka. A rupee and the clay are both same. But I was little frightened. Now here, the Sri Ramakrishna. I was little frightened after throwing that, giving up that. How foolish of me to offend the goddess of fortune. I thought, what shall I do if she doesn't provide me with food anymore? Then, like Hazra, I sought help in a ruse. I say to the goddess, Mother, may you dwell in my heart. That means the Lakshmi, that you should be in my heart. Then I should get the food. And why he is telling this from his own? To tell that it is not so easy to renounce, and as because you have the responsibility. Suddenly if the householders, they just leave like that, what will happen to the family? Is it not? And in the meantime, is he going to realize God just by leaving the family? Nothing like that. It is not so easy, because it is all the mind. You have to feel that I am not bound by anything. So Sri Ramakrishna has come to that, but at this moment, to give the answer to the Mahimacharan, he said, this is possible, because you are renouncing at the same time the thought of your food will come. When you are hungry, where I am going to sleep, where I am going to stay, where is my food, clothing, medicine. It is not so easy that you simply close your eyes and meditate on God, and if you are telling like that, saying like that, it is a complete hypocrisy. You cannot do that. Many of the people, they do like that. There will be, if you go to different places, the Swami is sitting, long beard. What is your age? Oh, maybe 300 years. Like that they will say. And the simple-minded people, they also accept it. Okay. I don't eat anything. I eat only the mother air. that is feeding me, they will be telling like that. And simple-minded people, they accept also. But it is not possible. That is the hypocrisy. Unnecessarily, they're telling people like this. It is not necessary. Religion means to become pure. And what is that purity? Not accepting these worldly things as it is. That is purity. So Sri Ramakrishna will come to that, and this is a unique way he will give the answer. What he says, and then he says, if you are so pleased with me, then one person, he is praying to the God. Once the Divine Mother was pleased with a man's austerity and said to him, you may ask a favor of me. O Mother, the person said, if you are so pleased with me, then grant that I may eat from a gold plate with my grandchildren. Now in one boon, the man got everything. Grandchildren, that means he is going to live for a long time. Wealth and the gold plate. So that everybody started laughing. This is the answer. Don't be a hypocrite. Swami Vivekananda said very clearly, I can stand everything but hypocrisy. Friends, in the religion, hypocrisy is too much. And that's why the modern people, they are not believing in religion. Many people, just to project that I am somebody, I have something, he will close his eyes and then he will do this. He will be looking at the sky as if talking with the God. It is not. It is not. And that is the way we are losing faith on the religion. Religion means you must keep your oath. I have taken this vow, I am going to keep it. That's all. That is religion. I have become a householder, I am going to practice this thing, or because I have taken the oath, but in a very clear way. I should earn, I should look after the family, I should look after the society, I should do this. The Panchama Yajna, the householders are supposed to do. They should do that. Mind is clear. And at the same time, inside they know whatever I am doing is not true, it's not real. It is all illusory. But this moment I cannot understand. I am thinking it is real. So that much, so that will be the way, and the next, that person will be completely separated. And that is called purity. Purity means unselfishness and nothing else. Purity means not having any attachment to the worldly things. It's so easy. Do you think it is so easy? So naturally, I should have to understand, no, still I have these. Sri Ramakrishna himself is telling it is, Sri Ramakrishna is God. Is he thinking about his food? No. But he is telling this story to tell people it is not so easy to go beyond the body consciousness. And as long as the body consciousness is there, food is necessary, clothing is necessary, everything will be necessary. So when can I say like this? So hold both. I am reading the holy book. What is the practices? In the morning, Sri Ramakrishna himself said you have to get up, and the first thing we should do to look at God's picture, God or Goddess, and pray to him or her. Then please, now a new day in my life, please be with me, let everything be well. Prayed. Just remember. Then after the ablution, sit for a little prayer. Then go for your work. Then in between remember a little. Read a few pages from a holy book. Again remember a little the God. And if you have taken the initiation, try to repeat that holy name the Guru has given. And ultimately when you come back home tired, just remember God, whatever I have done, I offer it to you. the good, bad, I don't know, I don't understand, but I tried my best. I tried not to forget you. That will be sufficient. By that way, slowly, when the time will come, your time, you will understand, you are becoming separated from the worldly matters, worldly things, all the selfish things. You won't like to listen even. You won't like to read all those trashes. And that will give you a satisfaction that you are becoming spiritual. Don't be hypocrite. Don't say this and that unnecessarily, because by that way we are hypnotizing ourselves. The one gentleman told, Swamiji, I have realized Brahman. Now what shall I do? And Brahman is the ultimate. So he doesn't know what is Brahman. Even then he is thinking he has realized Brahman. And he is telling everyone that I have realized Brahman. By that way, he is making himself the laughing stock. But he doesn't know. So it is not necessary. Perform your duty perfectly and in an unattached way. That's all. Sri Ramakrishna is telling, when the mind is freed from lust and gold, it can be directed to God and become absorbed in Him. See, the Mahimacharan asked him, can one hold these, the world, and that, the God? This is the answer. If your mind has completely withdrawn from any desire, and to fulfill that desire, the wealth, nothing is there, then it can be directed to God and become absorbed in Him. And that is the time, that is the moment, not before that. It is bound alone who can be freed. It is the bound alone who can be freed. The one who is thinking that I am bound, and then will get the freedom. Mano eva manushyanam karanam padmokshaya. This in the scripture it says, but mentally we think that we are bound. Oh, we have this, we have to do that. So many things. The moment you think that I am not, you are completely free. But again, not with the hypocritic way. But when really I feel that all the bonds have gone, then truly you will be free. And what will happen to you? The moment the mind turns away from God, it is bound. So what is the bondage? Attachment to the worldly things, craving for the worldly things, love for the worldly things. And when that has gone, you are becoming divine. But when that is not there, again to the world. So two things are there, God and God's creation. And the God's creation, in the Bhagavad Gita, Kshetra, Kshetrajna, two words they have used. Kshetrajna chapi mam viddhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. I am that Kshetrajna, the knower. What is the knowledge? What is the knower? Who is this knower? I know all these individual self and all these things that you see in the world. I know that. I am the knower. And who is telling this? Atman, the Brahman. So when we can understand that, we understand everything. So that's why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling, when does the lower needle of the pair of a scale move away from the upper one? When one pan is pressed down by the weight of lust and lucre, it is the weight. Now God and mind, he is giving an example of a scale, and the needles are straight. That means the God and the self, the individual self, are united. The moment the desire comes, desire of what? Desire of worldly things. Name, fame, Russia, all those things, all desires are coming. The moment the desire comes, immediately the scale is praised, and the pan is praised, and naturally the scales are also, the needles are also separated. Why does a child cry on coming out of the mother's womb? That's the Ramakrishna is giving. Mahima Charan saying, you should renounce mentally to Mahima. Sri Ramakrishna, not to Mahima only, to all the householders. Sri Ramakrishna said, you should renounce mentally. Live the life of a householder in a spirit of detachment. Live the life of a householder in a spirit of detachment. So that is the ultimate thing, friends. Those who can become monk and true monks, after becoming a monk and nun, then spending the time only loitering, gossiping, eating, and somehow spending the life. Not like that. Each and every moment should be utilized for the betterment of not only yours but also the world. So that is called thinking. The discrimination should be, I am not, I am not, I am not. How you will know that? The person will become completely free from ego. He has the confidence. She has the confidence, self-confidence, but free from ego. And feeling for others, love and concern for others. Some are very good monks and nuns. They can give the talks and can mesmerize the people. Good thing. But at the same time, if they don't have the feeling for others, it is of no use then. Ma Sharada Muni Devi said, it is of no use then. It is a dry knowledge, like the professors and lecturers. And they are all thinking, giving that talk only to get the appreciation from the others, worldly things. Apparently they are showing, no, I am completely free and my door is closed. This is also the subtle way of bondage. So many difficulties are there. The gross way of the attachment to the worldly things and the very subtle way of attachment to the worldly things. What is that? Name and fame, clappings of the people, appreciations of the world. Very, very dangerous for the monks and nuns and for the renouncers. And for the householders, living in the house, living in the family, living in the society, and saying hello, hi to each and every one, but at the same time completely detached, but not selfish. You are becoming unselfish. You have the love, but at the same time that love is not binding you. So this is the way one should. The sannyasi's heart, they say in the scripture, it should be softer than anything. And when the moment they hear about some pain, somebody is suffering, they start crying. Once Swami Vivekananda, a true Vedantin, and he was giving the class, Vedantic class to the brahmacharis, and that time our Girish Chandra Ghosh was passing. Many of you know this incident. And the Swamiji, he just for the fun, he said, GC, he used to call him as GC. Girish, all through the life, you have only acted as an actor and composed songs and dramas, wrote the dramas. But you have not read the Vedanta. Oh, your life is a waste. Girish Ghosh. Immediately he replied to the Narendranath, Naren, I have not read Vedanta. But can you tell me whether your Vedanta can wipe the tears of an widow or an orphan, the people who are suffering without food? Can your Vedanta give the morsel of food? Like that he was narrating the the suffering side of the humanity. And what happened? Swami Vivekananda couldn't stand that. When he was narrating only, he stood up and ran to his room and closed it. And when he was crying, then Girish Ghosh turned to his disciples, the young monastics, and said, "Do you know why I love your Guru, Naren? Not for his Vedantic knowledge, but for his heart, his feeling. That is that way one should feel. Feel for others, feel for others. Someone is going on talking, they will be calling. One should go on listening to them with sympathetic mind and pray for them. That is monastic life. It's not so easy. Oh no, I cannot talk, I cannot mix, I cannot do that. Not like that. Life is for others, sacrifice for others. But at the same time, no attachment. Whether that person criticizes you or respects you doesn't matter at all. Any possible way to help. Swami Ramakrishna, he was requesting the ordinary people, his own disciples, for a job for Narendranath, because the Narendranath's father passed away, and from the reaches they came down to the rags, and there was no food even to eat. The Sri Ramakrishna was begging to each and every one, "Can you please help my Naren?" Naren himself felt unhappy. He came and told, "Sir, why you are doing for me?" And what was his reply? "I can even beg door to door for you because I love you." That is the love, without attachment, love for each and every one, any suffering one. If we can't help them, at least we can pray for them. And we should not do anything to bring the misery to them. So that is called religion. Friends, we mix up all these things. There's some of the magics and some of the power, supernatural power, and all those things come together. No, it's a beautiful growth. A man is becoming God, a person is becoming God. How? Just by love and unselfishness. Pure love and pure unselfishness. And how? If you are a householder, be a householder, true householder. And what is a true householder? Do everything, but with a spirit of detachment. That is exactly what he said to Mahima. You should renounce mentally. Live the life of a householder in a spirit of detachment. Mahima. Can a man live in the world if his mind is once directed to God? Mahima was trying to show that he is feeling to renounce, etc. But Sri Ramakrishna knew it very well. Who is true and who is not. When Narendra, he was searching for the job and Sri Ramakrishna was waiting, then he came to know a rich man has given the offer, if Narendra marries his daughter, then he will send Narendra to London to study the study over there, etc., etc. Sri Ramakrishna, he knew that Narendra is a born sannyasi, but the situation is so, maybe that the Maya can bind. He ran to goddess the Kali to pray, Mother, don't bind him. Because he knew Narendranath. His spirit was completely free. He was not meant for his grihastha. And he knew Mahimacharan also. He knew the Mahima, though talking about the Vedanta and the renouncing and all that, but his mind was not of a sannyasi. So the both are equal, but in their own position, places. And if we mix it up, if a sannyasi becomes a man with a sannyasi mentality, marry and become a householder, will suffer all through his life. Because he won't like all those things that a person should love. But a person who is having all those attachments, If he takes the garb of his monk, he will not only suffer but also bring down the ideology. So that is the unique teaching of Sri Ramakrishna. No ambiguity, very clear. And we should not think, oh, I have become a householder, I cannot realize God. Nothing like that. From that situation also, only one thing, don't be attached. Perform everything, do everything. Apparently you are so much attached to that. Purchasing a house, decorating a house, purchasing a car, enjoying, but at the same time mentally you know it doesn't belong to me. So with a detached, can a man live? And Sri Ramakrishna's answer, why not? Where he go away from the world? If a person try to go away from the world, where he will go? There, the Yoga Vashishta, Sri Ramakrishna is quoting Yoga Vashishta. I realize that wherever I live, I am always in the Ayodhya of Rama. This Sri Ramakrishna is feeling, he is telling. This whole world is Rama's Ayodhya. After receiving instruction from his teacher, Rama said that he would renounce the world. Dasharatha sent the sage Vashishta to Rama to dissuade him. Vashishta found him filled with intense renunciation. He said to Rama, first of all, reason with me, Rama, then you may leave the world. May I ask you if this world is outside God? This world outside God? If that is so, then you may give it up. Rama found that it is God alone who has become the universe and all its living being. Everything in the world appears real on account of God's reality behind it. Thereupon Rama became silent. So this is called Vijnana. In the terminology of Sri Ramakrishna, language of Sri Ramakrishna, and this is Vijnana. And this is the highest position in the spirituality, the highest situation in the spirituality, the Vijnana. Swami Vivekananda, he wanted to meditate, but Sri Ramakrishna said, I will teach you higher than this. Why you should become selfish, only closing your eyes and sitting and trying to manifest the God within your heart and enjoying that much. यो कुछ है सो तू ही है. That is called Vijnana. Some people, they are very much impressed if you are sitting and meditating, because that is the normal way. Particularly in India, they always think if the man is on constantly sitting, meditating and all that, they are a very high spiritual person. But spirituality is not that, only closing the eyes and sitting. It is the thought, and the thought manifests through the behavior. The personality changes completely, and that is the love. Just now, as we were discussing, the love for each and every one. Oh, this is my community, they belong to my church, so I love them. That is not religion, that is not spirituality. They belong to my religion, they belong to my linguistic group, they belong to my country. That also not the highest spirituality. Highest spirituality expressed long before in the Vedic time. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. What is this Vasudha? Vasudha means this whole world. Is the Kutumba. They are my very close relatives. That is the feeling. Friends, up to this today, and see the unique way Sri Ramakrishna is teaching, that when we are thinking this the world is bad, in the beginning it is okay. When you are beginning the life, the spiritual life. But then ultimately, Bahurupe sammukhe tomar chhadi kotha khunjicho Ishwar. Swami Vivekananda is one of his poem he wrote. All that you see is nothing but the God, and renouncing the living gods, you are searching for God. This feeling, this realization, the ultimate realization, and in this modern time, Sri Ramakrishna, Masharada, Vivekananda is giving us that. And this is possible when we become pure, completely pure. And what is that purity again? Completely unselfish and completely love, full of love. Completely unselfishness and full of love. Thank you, friends. Is there any question?
Yes, the first question is from Srima Vishwas. She is writing Bengali in English. She is saying, please explain Kiu Karor Noy.
Shimaji, you know, we think that we are related. But in reality, just try to realize before the birth, whether my parents were my parents before my birth? No. And when they have passed away, I am still surviving. My father, my mother, they have passed away. I am still surviving. Maybe that sometimes I feel pain, but still surviving and everything. Life is going on. And what is proof? Everything is individual. Bebe dak mon keu karo noy. Mithe bhromish, miche bhromish bhumandale. That is the song. Yeah.
The next question is from Sumita Bhattacharya. She is asking, if I have craving for food, would it be called as a desire?
Of course. The craving for food is also, that is the only weakness I am having. So, so anyway, so a craving for food is also the attachment. But suppose whatever food comes, I love this type of food, okay. But if I don't get, that is also okay. No, there is no problem. There is no problem. These are all small things. Thank you very much. Let us say this stotra and we conclude. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampa drita vigraham vai Ishavataram parameshamidhyam tam Ramakrishnam shirasa namama. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. এটা রেখে দাও।